Mr. Buhler, your name is all over Canada. It's huge in the prairies. I need to ask first off, can you explain to my viewers a little bit about who John Buhler is?
Oh, John Buhler is a very ordinary guy. Parents born in Russia, Mennonite background, and what you say is probably not true. But if you can make your viewers believe that, that's okay.
It is true though. I mean, much like the Asper Foundation, you took a dream and you ran with it and you now own so many different farming equipment companies. You founded them, you took over them, you made it your own. How does somebody do that?
Well, I don't know if it's done by design. It just kind of happens, and when people know you have a knack for buying troubled companies, then they get presented to you, and I usually fall for it. And I only talk about my successes. I could spend days talking about my failures, but my successes have probably been a little better than my failures. So,
But failure surely is also what led you to where you are today, right?
well, a dream is. It's true. When I was 16 years old, I decided I wanted to build tractors, and everybody laughed at me. But the only difference was that I was free and able to tell everybody that someday I'm going to build tractors. Well, it took 50 years before I finally bought the, the big tractor factory, but in the meantime, I had 50 years of hard work and building towards that goal, and I knew it would happen someday, and I achieved that goal. So um, I'm not sure if that answers your question.
It does, and that's the thing, knowing that you do have that ultimate goal and it is something you're going to work towards no matter how many years it takes you. How can you explain to viewers to hold on to their dreams and to keep going for what they want out of life?
Well, first of all, if you have a dream, you've got to do something with it. So you've got to have it materialize. And so in order for it to materialize, you've got to tell other people, this is my dream. And then you're stuck. Then you've got to save face and keep trying to make your goal, right? And then I always say that you have to document your goal. You got to, or make it well known, because otherwise you'll just give up and say, "Well, nobody knew I was trying to do this." So I was always quite vocal about what I was going to do, and it didn't seem to bother me when people laughed at me for my failures. Uh, but in later years, they were quite ready to praise your successes, and I never thought of them as successes because it's what I do. You know.
Now, people praising your successes, you could have gone a completely different way. You could have gotten a huge ego and been like, yeah, that's right, I accomplished this on my own. But you haven't. You have stayed within the Manitoba community and you've brought back money and put so much work into the community to help make it better. What made you decide to help out Manitoba?
Well, no, I have a huge ego, but Bonnie keeps it in check.
Well, that's nice of her.
Yeah.
For that, I appreciate it.
so so and we both decided many years ago that we were going to our children weren't going to inherit our money. So if the kids aren't going to inherit the money, you have to do something with it. So we started on a very organized program of giving. And we didn't give lightly, and we usually looked for major projects. The toughest decision was when I agreed to put $6 million into the Museum for Human Rights. But it's also been one of the most rewarding. But equally, we've had very small donations, $500,000 or slightly more, that have been equally as rewarding. So I sometimes say that our giving is rather selfish because we look for that reward, that good feeling.
That's a cool way to look at it, though.
Yeah, but that's just the way it is. So we went about it in our own way. The problem with giving away so much money is there so many more people that want it.
I guess so, eh? People knocking down your door.
So, but we've learned, or I've taught Bonnie how to say no, and I just step back. So
With the museum that is coming to Winnipeg in September, I was told that you did make the generous donation that you did. Why did you choose to put your money into that specific project?
because I think it's so extremely important, I get emotional when I think about it. It's important to train young people today to love and not hate. I mean, how do you change the world? How do you? It's through a process of education, and I hope you get to see the museum for the opening, because it's going to be spectacular, and you can see that there's so much there that will visibly prove to them and leave an impact on them on the importance of human rights.
I've actually had the opportunity to see the outside of it when I was in Winnipeg just this past summer. And it's a gorgeous building, and honestly, I can't wait to get in and see what it'll teach me. I know there's a ton about Canada that isn't taught in schools,
That's right.
and you're helping it be shown.
Well, it's just so important. Yeah, my parents came from Russia, and they were pretty well forced out of the country, or lucky to get out of the country. Not everybody got out, and you never forget that. So we're so blessed, and we just want to do what we can to make sure that what happened in Russia will not happen here. And before Izzy Asper died, we had a meeting with him about probably 4 hours. He just kept talking, and I kept listening. And he said, don't think it can't happen here. It can, and it will, if we don't do something about it. And so I was convinced that we had to do what we could. So when you go, you will see the Bonnie and John Buhler Hall, and that's what they provided for us in return. So it'll be there in perpetuity.
Now that's a reward, hey?
That's a selfish reward.
That's awesome, though.
I took it in nonetheless. Yeah.
But you've also given them something that they could never, ever expect, deny, or regret having there.
You know, the Aspers, of course, made the biggest donation, but they say that our donation kind of encouraged others to come forward. None gave quite as much as we did, but some came very close. And that's quite an accomplishment. I think they raised $125 million. So I really only had a very small part in it.
You say it like that, but it is quite a generous donation, and I'm happy that you did it and are helping to make this all become a reality.
Well, let me give you another little bit of truth. We had been doing a fair number of donations, but I was 76 years old, and the Russians came along, and they said they wanted to buy our company, and I said, no, it's not for sale. And then Bonnie and I went to Russia, and we visited with them, and it's a great company. And I said, but we're not for sale. And they said, well, we were going to give you $195 million. I choked. I said,
I hope you weren't eating at the time.
no. I said, a very feeble, okay. And that was it. Then,
That's it. Sign the papers, hey?
yeah, they wanted to give me a check right then and there, but we couldn't. We're a public company. So that's been it's a nice ending to a long career. Absolutely. And now I'm 80 years old, and I don't think I'll buy any more tractor factories. So.
But you can sit back and enjoy life with your wife.
No, you can't enjoy life with my wife. She keeps me so busy.
And you have to keep telling her no, hey?
Yeah, that's right.
I have a signature question. Okay. I wasn't sure if it would throw you off a little bit and if you'd think I was just weird. But I tend to ask each of my guests to show me their socks. I think that socks tell a lot about a person, and I would like to see what type of socks you wear.
You know what? These socks do not tell you a lot about this person. I'm wearing these socks because my wife made me buy them, and not only that, she made me wear them. But everybody seems to be wearing colorful. I don't know if you can see them.
Oh my goodness, I love them. Are those Tommy Hilfiger socks? Because they've
They're
got
not
those
new.
colors.
They're Hudson Bay socks. I bought them
Okay.
at Hudson Bay, so
Well, there you go.
I think.
I like them
You
very
don't
much.
ask everybody that.
I do. I promise you. I'll show you my business card. It actually says, "Show me your socks."
Oh.
So I'm glad you did.
Well, what a terrible time to run into you.
I like them. Thank you so much.
Like you can wipe it all out. Did you videotape that too?
It's good.
Okay.
I like them.
Okay.
It gives you a little bit of, you
Well,
got something hiding under
No,
there.
but they're certainly not me. But you think they are.
But
Why don't you interview this guy? He's got an interesting story.